everybody, it's Chicken Nuggets here. I'm doing my analysis of GreenBat's 108.10, which is currently second place on the Speedrun.com leaderboard. So let's get to the action here. He could have switched to the right a little bit faster there. Let's get out of the chair a little bit faster. It's like a very minor thing, but this is going to be a very thorough analysis. Okay, I've seen this strat a lot. I'm not sure if it's actually beneficial here. Yeah, because this guy's AI gets all messed up until you take down that first guy. It seemed to work out okay for him, but I don't think it's necessarily optimal. Not the best RNG here, but obviously you don't have any control over that. Takes a pretty wide angle there. Oh, and he messed it up. Yeah, for that first attempt, if he had gotten it, yeah, he went very wide here. Generally, you want to like go as tight in as possible. I also go very wide because it just makes it a lot easier to actually line up the jump properly. But if you're like, you know, if you wanted to do it really very optimally, you would just do it as tight as possible. It doesn't do. We have a new jump there where you actually avoid the part where it climbs up, but we didn't know about that at the time. This is okay. So if he landed it right here, then when it zoomed in, you see it just goes down there. So if you actually land it in exactly the right spot, it'll happen faster because it won't have to move down to get into the right position. That's very hard to do. I'm not able to do that consistently, so that's understandable, but that is a way to save time here. Unfortunate not getting the ground takedown there. Yeah, aside from those two things, that was a very good courthouse fight. Missing the scan there is obviously a little bit of time loss. Not quite the right glide. Not the fastest setup for the church fight skip, and unfortunately he didn't get it. Very good recovery though, he got all ground takedown cancels there. Didn't get the, you can actually jump out of that grate slightly faster. I don't know what influences it, but that's a thing.
Well, that's good.
You can also, you can do a cancel on this guy, and it's a little bit faster. Fortunately, grappled to the wrong thing, that happens sometimes. That, I believe, is the second worst dialogue RNG you can get there. There's 4 options. 2 of them are good, 2 of them are not. I think it's faster to dive bomb on that part. Not certain though. He didn't quite get off that water tower as fast as he could have. He definitely cuts those cancels a lot sooner than I do. I don't know if that's better. Doesn't really seem like it is, but it's hard to tell. Seems like he got into kind of a weird thing in this fight, but he's holding up the rhythm for sure. That was maybe about 2 seconds slower than what I would consider a good fight. So still very good for sure. And nothing went wrong. A little bit of unfortunate menuing there. Didn't get the ground pound. That's unfortunate. Usually you want to do a ground takedown and then do a ground takedown cancel on that guy, and that's the fastest way to get through this room. Those guys didn't spot him though. That's very good. I see he's not going for assembly skip, which is understandable. Assembly skip only saves like 2.5 seconds, but there's some time save right there. Ooh, unfortunate getting spotted by that guy. He was a little too aggressive on entering. And, yeah, just a very unfortunate predator room.
Oh my god, what is going on?
There are a lot of things that can go wrong in these predator rooms, and knowing how to handle anything that goes wrong just takes a lot of time and practice, really. You just have to know all the things that can go wrong and have a plan for all of it. I think he could have placed gel slightly faster there, but I'm not sure what happened here.
Mouse seems to be weird.
But obviously that's quite a bit of time loss for whatever's going on there. I don't think that's faster. I think it's faster to go down, grapple to this thing, and then go up than what happened here. Otherwise, this seems okay. Just, you know, as usual, do it a little more. Know how tight you can cut things. He sort of did a double shot there. It wasn't like an actual double shot, but he shot 2 people. If you land close enough, you actually can just shoot the gate and just go for it. There's a small chance that you'll get screwed over if you do that, but it's much faster. Unfortunate zip setup, but that happens sometimes. Could have cut off that grapple a little sooner. One thing to note here, so he actually went very high on this glide, but you actually, there's a guy here. If you go low, then you can actually have him spot you, and then everybody in this area will actually join the fight much faster. You want to go low, have the guy spot you, and then it's much easier to do this part very quickly and effectively. Still very well done. Unfortunately, the Batarang didn't hit the guy who wanted it to. Not quite the best way for that to go, and oh, that happens sometimes. Sometimes this last guy here just does not get knocked out when he's supposed to. So all in all, that was kind of unfortunate. Good hack though. I don't think running all the way to this ledge makes sense. I think it makes more sense to grapple up here. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why, but he didn't have enough experience at this point. It seemed like he got all the experience items and his fights were decent, but he just didn't have enough. Ideally, you want to have 2 upgrade points here, and you want to buy the Bat Swarm and the multi-ground takedown. The Bat Swarm you just buy because it's a prerequisite for the multi-ground. But since he doesn't have those, he opted to buy no upgrades, which is understandable. I'd still say to buy multi-ground here, like after doing jammers and whatever, buy the multi-ground upgrade, and then you have it, because when you do the fight skip on getting back into the museum, that's somewhere where you'll want to have it. So really, just at this point in the game, you want to get it as soon as possible. That fight setup seems pretty good, actually. Maybe it is better. I'll have to look at that. It was pretty good, but it got kind of weird at the end, unfortunately. I never figured out if that wreck jump was worth it. It seems like it doesn't make a huge difference. Doing the jammers in that order is kind of weird. So he like started here and then he went around and then he went back. I think it makes more sense to, when you glide, go through here and then just work around, and then you can run out this way. He's gliding a little bit too far to the right, but as long as you come back in, it's okay. Hit that. I've never hit that before. I didn't know there was a thing there. Unfortunate not getting all the jammers right away. The Predator room is very good though, very well handled. Oh, I had it, but he let go of it a little bit too early there. That happens sometimes. There's no need to rush it because you have to wait for him to get out of the animation before you can do anything anyway. But it's tempting. Good fight. I'd recommend just quick firing the Batarang to get storage there. He also got it on the remote control Batarang, which is safe, but not fast. Took kind of a little bit to get in position there. That happens though. You don't need to hang there like that. You can just hold spacebar or A or whatever to climb up immediately. You just have to, once he does climb up, you have to start mashing A to do the dive rolls. You can throw that Batarang a lot faster and still make it work. I'm not sure how he's set up on this, because he didn't get a downwards look. He just kind of went for it, which I guess is a little bit faster. Seems like he did a good job. He's very high. Yeah, just a little bit too high. But he made it. What you want to do is there's this hallway that you're trying to get into, and then at the end of the hallway is the door. You want to just like glide right into that hallway. But that's a little bit hard to do when you can't see it. So as long as you make it, whatever works. That setup looked wrong and the timing looked wrong. I guess that setup works for him. So yeah, the first time was just timing then. Okay, so in the menu there, because he waited a little bit, he ended up pulling up the map instead of the upgrade menu. So I buy the upgrade like here. I specifically do it right after initiating the slide. That's not important, but just doing it right now when the menu's like this means that you won't get the map. You'll just go straight to the upgrade menu. So that's why I do it when I do it. Didn't buy any other upgrades there. That's an interesting choice. That would have been another good time to buy the multi-ground just as soon as possible. This is just a good time to get them because you have to open the upgrade menu anyway. But ideally you would just already have them at this point. This is an edge case where you've already lost too much experience. But this does happen a lot, especially if you get bad fights. Most of your experience comes from fights and like a couple of XP items. He went a little bit out of his way to get that penguin. I'm not sure if that was worth it. You don't really need experience at this point. Messed up the cancel, unfortunately. Almost got stuck inside the door. That was close. Didn't grapple to quite the right spot. That's about as good as you can expect that room to go. Although he didn't get the knockout on that guy, which is interesting. Ideally, you backclaw the guy and then you hit him and then he just goes down. Very good exit. Didn't go for a wreck cancel there.
Los policías infiltrados me necesitan. Si los dejo en el hielo, morirán congelados.
Very good wreck jump.
No puedo irme sin liberar a los demás policías infiltrados.
That's the best case scenario. It just takes you like almost right to the door. Another door that's you'd want to do a wreck cancel on.
¿Sabes qué?
I'm not sure what happened there. Rolling into that doesn't seem like a great idea.
¿Sabes qué?
Yeah, I'm not sure why that dropped. I'm not really certain. Now we got the first boss fight.
¿Qué diablos estás haciendo? Estos son antigüedades.
Something you can do a little bit differently here. So he, when he places the gel, he's just going like forward. But you can actually, you can place gel and then you can move off to the side. And what that lets you do, that lets you just angle towards the next generator. And that makes it a little bit faster.
Estos son antigüedades. Eso tenía pinta de valer, ¿no? Menos mal que se pesa.
You actually don't have to roll on that attack. If you do it just right,
De valer, ¿no? Menos mal
you have just enough time to blow up the gel before he hits you. Rolling over that attack is definitely the safe thing to do.
que se pesa. ¡Basta!
This is another one where you'd want to angle towards the next generator just to save a little bit of time. Like if you angle towards the next generator, you also want to delay blowing it up until you're like almost ready to set up the next one, just to make sure that he doesn't do his shockwave attack and hit you while you're in the middle. Because if you do it really quickly, he just gets like off cycle. Yeah, he didn't have to do that last slide. Would have saved a little bit of time if he didn't do that.
Oráculo, cambio.
Didn't grapple to quite the right spot there, which means he won't be able to get to the door quite on time. Yeah, as soon as that dialogue ends, you can open the door, so you want to be at the door when it ends, just to save a little bit of time. That wreck jump is completely superfluous, because you just get knocked out. That's an unfortunate result for that zip. Good recovery from it, though. Sometimes when it does that, you just are stuck inside the wall. But sometimes you're not. That roll obviously wasn't worth it.
Vaya, mira qué tenemos aquí. ¿Qué pasa, doctora?
Por favor, no me hagáis daño.
Oh, no vamos a...
¡Diablo! ¿Eh? Ve a esconderte, ahora.
Esta gente está loca.
¿Por aquí?
A little bit unfortunate there. This is pretty... That was okay. Got a little sloppy at the end, but it was a very good start to that Predator room. Unfortunate not actually getting a glide there.
No le está robando las armas a Strange. Es esto.
Just a minor thing. I've noticed when he's like whipping the camera around, he goes a little bit too far every time. Not every time, but yeah, like even just right there. Minor thing, but heads up. Grappled to the wrong gargoyle, unfortunately. It's the right one. Was a little late on the glide there, actually, it looked like. It's not a big deal. He's perfectly fine. He has plenty of height, but didn't get that first try. This is good. This is what you want to do. You want to be as close to her as possible to activate the next cutscene quickly. Because if you just like lag behind, the whole scene just slows down. It's kind of weird, but that's how it works. You actually can skip that with the mouse wheel. You don't need to click or use the controller or whatever. This is also where I buy the critical strikes and the special combo boost. just because it's a good place to buy both those upgrades. And the critical strikes helps with Raish, and the special combo boost helps with every fight after Raish.
Restaurando tu salud y doblegando.
It's weird. Why does he only have 3 upgrade points right now? Something went very wrong with his experience. Ideally, you would have had 4 upgrade points there. And for whatever reason, he holds off on buying multi-ground. Yeah, just the upgrade in the path in this run is somewhat unfortunate, but it's not what you would usually get. I usually don't go off this one right away, but as long as you land in the pit at the right time and don't accidentally kill yourself, you're golden, pretty much no matter when you leave. Just wait a little bit to make it easier to time. He could have dropped, like, as soon as... Okay, he was looking up away from it the entire time, but there's one point where it's very obvious that it's changed to the one that's dropping. As soon as you see that change, you can just drop immediately. Unfortunate start to that fight right off the bat. Yeah, that just sucked. He tried to use the Batarangs. Unfortunately, they didn't really work out for him. That'll happen sometimes. Oh, something you should absolutely do is you should just get right on top of him. Like, you can actually just stand right there, and he won't push you back as far, and then you can pull out storage, and it just, like, doubles the effect of you getting right in his face and being as close as possible. This did seem to work for distance, but... that was very good. Waited to start countering there. Not sure why.
No podéis vencernos. No podéis. Somos.
Another one trying to use the Batarang and it not working on him. That's another thing that just takes a lot of practice, is just like getting used to what the Batarangs do. And being able to plan around that. I guess he messed up storage there. That's pretty bad, unfortunately. Getting pushed back here loses a lot of time. Not quite optimal, but you got the skip.
Know how to get light storage on controller. I only know how to do it on keyboard. So.
Right, so that zip setup unfortunately didn't work for him. I don't know why he sets it up that way. Like, it seems to usually work for him, so that's fine. But what I do is I actually just go right up to the door. You just plant your face into it, and you just zip from there, and it works for me every single time without fail.
Lleva siglos usándolo y ha ido perfeccionando poco a poco el proceso hasta que ha podido resurgir de entre los muertos.
¿Y tú has tomado de eso?
Me ha obligado. Una pequeña dosis parece curar casi todos los males, pero
It's a little while to set up the line launch there, and didn't quite get the perfect one. Yeah, and then there's tons of invisible things to bounce off of when you're trying to line launch here. Nice wreck jump. Didn't attempt to wreck cancel that door. I don't mean to just necessarily call out everything he doesn't do, but like there's a little time saves that add up when you just don't wreck cancel something. That's unfortunate. So you wanna not get that. You wanna get the glide kick. It's just a little bit easier to set up the rest of the fight versus getting the kick versus the tackle, but he worked with it. Was a little too far back and waited a little bit too long for that. Could have hit him a little sooner. And with how far he is from the stairs right now, there's not really any reason to like let him move forward more. Because as long as he's on top of the stairs for when you want to use the disruptor, you're fine. Because he'll fall down when you do the damage on him. But this worked out okay. He didn't have to wait to do that gel. He waited just a little bit to blow it up. As soon as he started moving, you can blow it up. Oh, that's the other thing. If you do the quickfire explosive gel while you have gel placed, it blows it up faster than if you do a manual detonate. Kind of slowish menuing here, but that's okay. Waited a very long time to turn the battering around there. Yeah, he lost 3 seconds here, because as soon as the segment timer says 8, after splitting here, you can catch it safely. You just have to wait 8 seconds. So part of that was the menuing, part of that was a little sloppiness with the remote control battering. It's understandable though, this is relatively new, buying the upgrade here specifically. Very unfortunate when that happens. Anyway, onto Stacy Skip. Fell through the gargoyle instantly, that's nice. Unfortunately, he didn't get the zip. Well, he did get a zip, just not the zip. One minor bit of time save there. So here, we'd pull out the wreck for storage, and then we'd throw a freeze grenade. But you can actually just pull out the wreck and just mash 4 to quickfire the wreck, and that'll have the exact same effect and is a little bit faster because he doesn't have to switch to another gadget and do another animation. He just shoots the wreck that he already has out.
I will take that into consideration, John.
That was a very low first dive. Early second dive, and I don't think it was low enough.
I think I'm too low. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think in general he dives very early and very long, at least for the initial dive. And then he like doesn't dive enough on the second dives. I think I'm noticing that in a couple places. Taking the time to set that up correctly is completely fair because it's much better to get across than to lose time from falling, especially falling again. This room's always kind of awkward when those 3 guys come up here. That's unfortunate when that guy goes down. Oh, and he ran away without getting anything done to him. Just a very unfortunate predator room. He didn't attempt one. That was interesting. Lots of curious movement there. Another door with no rec cancel. And another door with no rec cancel. Those add up. They're like, I think we said they were about half a second each. They add up. Alright, and the Funhouse Brawl. Very good start to it. I usually go for a battering on Joker so I don't lose my place in the arena, but... Oh, and he didn't, something we do now is we actually place gel somewhere around here manually while we're waiting for the hammer guy to come down, and then we use that later with the Titan. It's not necessary by any means, but it would be faster. Because then you can use gel, knock down a bunch of guys, and stun the Titan. And then go for a multi-ground. He did get hit, which always messes up this fight. Is there not another guy? I guess not. Okay, that was decent. Not sure what that was. I don't think that made any sense. Like going around and doing the wreck jump. That seemed like kind of a waste of time. And not just because he I think he messed it up, but still. It didn't really seem like it'd be worth it. Went very wide there. You can actually, you can tell where the wall is that you're trying to avoid. So you can see where these bits are. These bits are the wall you're trying to glide around. You can get right up against that wall. But he goes very wide around, which is safer, but not optimal. And he's doing this the older way, which is seemingly easier for him. I think the newer way is easier, but that's just for me. Didn't get the cancel first try or second try, or took him a couple tries to get that. But that's okay. As long as you get it and you don't go through the door, you're probably okay. 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62. So we did 4 extra freeze grenades there. Doing more is better than not doing enough. For those who don't know, if you don't do enough freeze grenades, the tower actually doesn't load. We determined that the safe number is 58, but you can obviously do a little bit more if you don't feel like counting them or aren't comfortable. But obviously, optimally, you would do the minimum number required. He goes kind of wide here, but it worked out okay. You can actually go, you can go really tight on the tower and still make it in. He didn't get the wreck jump high enough there or far out enough there. What I do is I dive and then I just go straight around to the actual entrance. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what he's gonna do now. I just do that first. It's not necessarily faster, but I find it to be a lot easier, a lot more consistent. I don't think that's optimal. What I do, well, no, I think what I do is optimal. So what I do is I go around the left, and then I grapple the left side of that water tower, and then I cancel it and just fly past it. Gives me a lot of speed. This gives you more height. I don't think this is faster though. Get spotted, but that's perfectly fine. That'll happen sometimes. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. Didn't land on the guy. That sucks. Usually you land on that guy and then you can actually get a ground takedown and a ground takedown cancel off on him before the other sniper shoots you or anything. And then you just ground takedown cancel this guy. But this didn't quite go according to plan. Punching him's actually not a good idea here. As you can see, when he gets to 3, the game actually slows down a little bit there. And that includes his animation gets slowed down too. So you want to just wait and just mash A. Not hitting that grunt was definitely a mistake. You want to have a clear path to him so that you're not wasting freeze grenades on the minions. Got a little bit too close to Clayface there. And just some kind of bad. Doing a good job of managing it though. Going out and then back in to finish it off. Ended up in not quite the right spot there. And that's Clayface. There is his giant PB. All right, so that's Green's run. Very good run, honestly, overall. But of course, as with any speedrun, plenty of room for improvement. And hopefully this helps him and anyone else improve their run. Alright everybody, that's going to be it for me. Definitely go check out GreenBat. He's a fantastic speedrunner. I'll have his Twitch and his YouTube linked down in the description below. Thank you very much for watching this video.